consecuencias.
Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, children of all ages,
Welcome to Raw is Jericho! Hell yeah! Get some
You will rest in peace.
The whole world will acknowledge me.
How's it going, everybody? It's the Rasslin Addicts. I'm Matt. No Sal today, but instead, making their debut on the Fantasy Sports Corp, we have the NoShaveManCave. We have JT. We have LEJ. How you going? How you doing, guys?
Oh man, we are fantastic. Excited to chop it up with you about some wrestling, man. Heard good things. We're excited to be part of this network and excited to be doing this show with you tonight.
Yeah, sorry Sal couldn't be here, but the next best thing, LEJ or J Tilly from the NoShaveManCave. Let's go.
Boom. So why don't you guys just introduce yourselves real quick? Tell us about you, what you're into, and anything that the world should know.
All right, cool. So so we're two disabled vets who decided to start talking about wrestling and record it and see what happens on a podcast venue. Kind of that's the quick and dirty of the NoShaveManCave. Both love wrestling, grew up watching it. I did 24 years in the Air Force. Left and joined a company, ran into LEJ there at that company. And like I said, we started talking wrestling, and about over a year or two of knowing each other, I'm like, man, we got some pretty good takes. We should record this. And like I said, we launched the podcast. But yeah, excited to do it. It's kind of a passion of ours. I've been into wrestling, oh man, since I was a little kid, and sneaking them in the bedroom on Saturday mornings while my mom was cooking breakfast to watch WWF at the time. And have her come in. What are you watching? Nothing, Mom. Changing the channel real quick because I wasn't supposed to be watching it. To now, I've got my kids into it, and we go to AEW whenever they're in town, and try to go to WWE when they come in town. So fantastic, awesome. and excited to be doing this stuff.
That's awesome.
Yeah, absolutely. I'm I was lucky to be able to serve in the Marine Corps for 28, and JT and I, we stumbled upon each other and started with just some chit chat, and then it turned into hanging out, barbecuing, and smoking meat. Don't make it weird. And grabbing some bourbon. And now here we are 3 months in, and happy to be part of the a very cool, eclectic group. And, happy to be here specifically tonight with the Rasslin Addicts, and make a habit of being on each other's shows as often as we possibly can.
Absolutely. And before I continue, thank you for your service, both of you. Appreciate everything that you sacrificed. Thank you for everything.
Yeah, my honor and privilege.
Yeah.
And absolutely. Your show, our show, my show, this show, any show, I'm all for it. The more chances we get to talk about wrestling, the better. And, a lot's happening right now. So there's, so much to talk about. This past Monday, the WWE draft wrapped up, and a lot of surprises on my end. JT, what was something that stuck out to you during this draft?
So I think one of the ones that kind of struck me the most. So the first shock was the NXT Alba Fire and oh man, of course I'm drawing a blank on her name. That was the first shock, like the NXT Tag Team Champions getting drawn up. The second one was when their contenders on Tuesday night got drafted too. So it was like, all right, well, what are they going to do with the titles? Now, all transparency, I don't watch NXT much, so I don't know what happened last night. But I was kind of surprised at that.
I think they retained.
Did they retain?
I think so, yeah.
Okay, so they're probably taking their titles with them. So that one kind of surprised me. Cody not going where Roman went kind of surprised me. I understand they're probably going to try to give him the big gold that they just unveiled, but to me, that's just not finishing the story. I would rather him follow Roman and kind of finish that Roman story. I think there's something to the Brock Lesnar free agency thing. We kind of talked about on our show a little bit. Very curious if, well, maybe when we start talking Backlash, I'll give you some ideas on what I think is going to happen there. So,
Okay.
Oh yeah.
yeah. So there was a few. I mean, a lot of it was, I think my biggest thing about the draft, personally, that I didn't like is they made such a big deal over the past 3 or 4 weeks about you guys could be split up. Everybody could be split up, but yet they didn't split anybody up and they just drafted them as groups. Cause I was kind of looking for like Montez Ford and Dawkins to be split so they can split them and still have their their singles careers going, but not making it a feud between them. So I was kind of surprised at that one, but overall it was decent. Not a lot of, oh my gosh, I can't believe that, but it was WWE draft, I guess. As long as they stick to it, I'll be happy.
Yeah, that's the big thing too, because if you're gonna go through all this, you're gonna hype it up. Friday night SmackDown, you had the draft, then you had their next draft on Saturday morning, and then Monday you had the draft, and then you had the mini draft after. If you're gonna go through all this, you have to stick with it.
Yep.
Too many times, that's why if you're gonna make Brock a free agent, because both, I guess, networks want him on there, do that. But that's the only thing. I don't want to see anything else happen unless it's like a champion. That's
right.
it. Like if the tag champs are going to jump both shows, but they're exclusive to Raw, that I'm okay with. But if they're not, and they continue to go to SmackDown for this Bloodline feud, what are you doing?
But what's the point, right?
Yeah.
Or even on Raw, they hinted at Seth Rollins and Roman. I'm like, why are we hinting at this feud now when you're making it such a clear divide that they're not going to interact? So I thought that was really weird coming out of Raw.
That's true.
I think one of the cool twists that we could see, sort of like what we see in the NBA and NFL, like Aaron Rodgers, he decided he no longer wanted to be a cheesehead. He wanted to be for some ungodly reason, a JETS, Jets. So he demanded a trade. So, Cody's not happy because he doesn't get to finish the story. So he walks into General Manager X and says, I demand a trade. I didn't finish my story, blah, blah, blah. That I think would be really cool. One of the biggest surprises for me, sort of along the same lines with the NXT. So you vacate the women's title with Indy Hartwell. She relinquished the title in the ring, and they're going to have a tournament. So I think that will be pretty solid. Hopefully Tiffany Stratton pulls that out. And then Grayson Waller, who I thought would be your next NXT champion. He's heading to Friday. So I think that is going to be a really good one. Him maybe going against Boogs or, Theory, that would be fun seeing him.
LA Knight.
That's
I love
gonna be
me
good.
some LA Knight. Yeah.
Like with Waller, Theory, even carrying Cross, LA Knight, it could be, you could have that 2002 SmackDown feel to where they had Edge, Eddie, Angle, Brock. It was loaded SmackDown at that time. And I think maybe that's why they put all those guys on there, because they could shine when Roman's not there.
Yep.
So it's
that makes a lot of sense. Yeah.
And you put Bianca there as your working champion. So they've got their champion that's going to be on every show. I think that's why they did Bianca there.
Yeah. That shocked me, to be honest. I definitely thought that they were going to move Judgment Day to SmackDown and Bianca would stay on Raw. But once they drafted Bianca to SmackDown, I popped a little. I was like, what? I'm like, no way. But it, like you said, it makes sense. She'll be the champion that's there, every night. She'll probably wrestle almost every night.
Yep.
So it makes sense to do that.
They just need to do some really good booking with the female division over there, because I think the only credible contender right now, other than you got Bayley and Damage Control and Asuka, but we've seen that from Bianca already. So I hope they give us like Indy Hartwell or give us some new challengers to go after her, and I think you'd be all right.
Yeah,
I think
absolutely.
Charlotte's on SmackDown, right?
Oh, that's right. Yeah, I
Mhm.
remember.
So
Yeah.
did we see that yet? I can't remember.
I don't think so. I
Yeah,
don't think we've seen Charlotte and Bianca yet.
No. I think it was teased a little bit, but I don't think it happened.
Yeah, that'll
Yeah,
be pretty good.
And that's another good thing about Charlotte being on SmackDown is that you have Rhea on Raw and you have Ronda on Raw, because I do not want to see those interactions anymore.
Yeah. Ronda and Rhea.
Kind of over it,
oof,
yeah.
That is going to be a hell of a match when that happens, because you know it's happening.
I think it's going to happen. You just have to get Ronda to the point where people care about her.
Yeah.
Again. You need to get Ronda back to WrestleMania 34.
Oh,
To where she was hot and everyone loved her. Now she's cringe, and I predicted on the last show that Ronda would move to Raw because you have 3 hours to hide her.
Yeah, it's true.
Because when she's on SmackDown, it dominates this. It's a long segment. It dominates the show, and no one wants to see her. So if you have her on Raw, you can easily hide her to where she's not overexposed, and then eventually get her back to being a top contender for the title.
Yeah, when they announced that pick, I was so surprised because they were like, and Ace of Hearts or Ace of Spades, Shayna Baszler, and Ronda Rousey. I'm like, has she seriously fallen that far from being the baddest woman on the planet to a secondary pick in the 5th round? And hopefully next year they'll make it more of like a thing, the draft, and it will be a location almost like a just shy of WWE or just shy of a WrestleMania or a pay-per-view, and give it a little bit of pomp and circumstance, give it the legit round feel. So the first pick of the first round is obviously it's going to be the one of the champions. Second pick of the first round is someone who's either a champion or like Cody, he's the face of a brand, and give it a little bit of shine, and not just be like, oh my goodness, so and so just got drafted in the 5th round. Well, they didn't really discuss the value of the round, and it's not affecting anybody's pay. So if they want to make this credible, I'm just glad they didn't do like the War Room like they did on the first one with the Fox robot behind them, and oh god, everybody's shaking hands, and none of the executives know anything about wrestling. They're just like, okay, the light under the camera is on. When you see the light, shake hands. Okay.
Yeah. And you know what? I like what you were just saying, try to get it back to like a big time feel to where it means something.
Yeah.
I feel like because of like past drafts with the War Room, and now this past one, it's just, people that are more associated with that brand are coming out and making picks.
Yeah,
They're coming from a room, which is the War Room, just, getting that graphic of it. I want to go back. I think if you're going to do the brands, you need to go back to having like a general manager, bring in someone that's the authority figure, whether you want to keep Adam Pearce on Raw and then, get someone else to be authority on SmackDown, do that, because it's just like, what's the point? Like, who cares? Why do I have to be on Raw? Like, for what reason? Why can't I just go to SmackDown? There's nothing that separates the brands at all.
Yeah, you can even set it up to where like if they really wanted to go deep and do this as a yearly thing, they could go, all right, we're going to judge the buy rates to the pay-per-views that are hosted by SmackDown versus the buy rates to the pay-per-views hosted by Raw. The winner, whoever gets the most buy rates, they're getting first pick. And then I kind of pitched it on our show. I would just do a special. And all right, number 1 pick is Roman Reigns. Here's a clip of everything he almost like a year in review. Here's a clip he did this year and show some highlights matches. Second pick is so-and-so. You could easily do a 3-hour draft show, which would probably pop some ratings because it's your year in review. You're looking at all your favorites in the top 20 picks or whatever. And I just think that would be a cool way to do it and would be able to kind of a fresh plate. Like, all right, everything's cleaned off. Now, boom, go. This having the draft right before this pay-per-view makes this pay-per-view feel kind of weird. Because now you're like, well, Bronson Reed obviously is not going to win because you're not going to put the Intercontinental Champion and the U.S. Champion on Raw.
Right.
Okay, well, so now it's either going to be Lashley or, that part's kind of weird to me too.
I think too, with the video packages, you could almost treat it like, here's their combine film. This is why Saquon Barkley got drafted in the first round to the Giants, because he was blah, 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 blah. And then like nobody knows much about Alba Fire or Lacey Evans, even for that matter. And here's Lacey Evans, proud Marine Corps veteran, and this is what she's done. And everybody's like, oh my goodness, we get to know a little bit about the superstar, and then, they can make them a little bit credible and, raise their stock as they go to their new show. And, they show up, whether they're repackaged. Like I think the OC is going to be a little bit repackaged, a little edgier than what they were previously. And hopefully Mia Yim will get a run, and I think that'd be really good.
Yeah, I would like that. And I was just thinking too, just an idea of something that would be cool. It's almost like I don't know if you play the video game, WWE 2K23.
I've played them all except for this one. I haven't played this one yet.
Well, if you played last year's, did you do My GM?
Yes. Yep.
So you know how you could sign guys permanently to the brand, and then there's free agents that you can sign. Like if they did something like that for the draft, to where Cody's like on a 2-year contract, so the next year's draft he wouldn't be eligible because he's still
that would be
part
cool.
of Raw. And then to make the picks worth it, you do that with like a Raw guy versus a SmackDown guy, and the winner gets like the edge in like a draft pick or whatever. And then kind of like in some fantasy football leagues, you can't you can't like keep the first or second round. They could do something where champions are only eligible to be drafted in like the 3rd round or 4th round. Spice it up a little bit. So then if if it's like Cody versus Roman, let's say Cody goes in the 1st round, Roman goes in the 3rd, they're on different shows. Now it's almost like, anything could happen because of that. It's just, maybe the people that make the video games they should talk to for creative because they give some good ideas.
Yeah. That, and you would have continuity too with the show, with the game. They do this big unveiling with Rey Mysterio. He's the Hall of Famer. He's the cover of the game. But the WWE Endeavor, whoever, they have no idea about the video game. They just know that people are buying it, and Ray is on one of 3 covers. And like, come on, man, like tie it all together, make it make sense, like what you're trying to do with the story. I
agree. And that's why they have to stay on their shows.
Yes,
because
100%.
then it would mean nothing, know. But I do like the idea to where it happens all the time. Someone could sit out. Like I'm sitting out.
Ooh.
I like the idea of trades.
Yeah.
Like, I'm going to trade. Hey, SmackDown, I want to trade you to get another 1st round pick. I want to pick the first 2 people.
Yeah.
Like, oh man, they could do some really fun. Like the idea of the contracting is great because, like you said, you go, hey, we've got Cody. We'll trade you Cody, but I want the first 4 picks. Like, oh man, like,
and I think that's where you need an authority figure who's loyal to that brand.
Right. Yep.
So, and then, honestly just mirror the video game to where Triple H is like, if you perform certain objectives, you get rewarded for it,
Mm-hmm.
Do something, they could do something like that. Hey, Raw, if you do X, Y, and Z, I'll give your brand number 30 in the Royal Rumble. Something, like something like cool like that and different. I would watch it. I think that would be. I think that would be a lot of fun.
Make that a thread throughout the year, to where at a pay-per-view, okay, this, like with the All-Star game, the Major League Baseball All-Star game, the winner gets home field advantage for the World Series, or do something along those lines. And all right, for this pay-per-view War Games, for the winner of War Games gets the first pick. Or I like how JT was saying too, like the buy rates, or because if they're going to do a brand specific pay-per-view, then all right, your first pay-per-view was Money in the Bank, and you did umpteen buy rates, and Yeah, I think, and like what you were saying with the general managers, then you see them, those would be some of the only people that you would see do show crossovers, because then they're negotiating. And he, like, if say Heyman he's in the back talking with the general manager for the other show that he's not on, and he walks away with his little sly look that he always gets, and we're like, wait a minute, what?
Yeah.
What? And now next thing you know, the Usos are on the other show, and Brock Lesnar is exclusive to Friday Night SmackDown. You're like, oh my goodness, what just happened? So,
or I mean, and the other booking ideas you could have, you could do, okay, guys, you know, like War Games. All right, we know War Games is coming up, and the winner of War Games is going to get first pick. Well, cool. So SmackDown's going to show up and invade Raw. Like, you could do some really good invasion things.
Yeah.
Which, yes, you're breaking the stay separate brands, but as long as they're together, like, I don't know, you could just do some really cool booking ideas going forward.
100%. That'd be cool.
In my opinion, some of the WWE stuff needs is some story driven things to kind of happen other than just the Bloodline and the Judgment Day right now.
Yeah.
Yeah, I agree. But speaking of all the draft stuff, everything that happened, none of it really matters for this Saturday and Backlash. So I'm going to take a quick break, and then when we come back, we'll do our Backlash predictions and see what we think will happen. We'll be right back.
All right.
Underdog Fantasy is here to save your post-fantasy football season blues. The easiest place to play and win with the Underdog Fantasy app. Get up to 20 times your money in a single night with our Pick'em contests. Grab some insurance when setting your picks and win even when one pick fails. Go online now and use the promo code SCOREBOARD to double your deposit up to $100. Sit gingerbread, good girl.
So, Backlash. Oh, and they finally took out WrestleMania, and they're just calling it Backlash.
Oh, yes.
Because WrestleMania Backlash was terrible. Terrible name.
Garbage, yeah. And especially when you look at the card, there's nothing to do with WrestleMania at all on this card.
Yeah.
So there's 7 matches on the card, and Roman Reigns is not in one of them. And looking at the card, it's okay. You know, it's okay that Roman's not there. You know, he doesn't need to be there. They're in Puerto Rico. They're going to sell out anyway. You know, it's on Peacock. People are going to watch it. So, you know, it's now easier to pull him off when you have Brock Lesnar versus Cody. You know, so that's probably going to be your main events. But before we get there, we have a match that smells of Vince McMahon booking. Seth freaking Rollins versus Omos.
Oh, very Vincey. Yeah.
Yeah. Was Omos drafted? He was probably drafted to Raw.
He's a free agent.
I would say he's a free agent.
He's a free agent. Yep. He MVP are free agents along with Brock Lesnar, and I forget who else, but yeah, he's a free agent, which I thought was kind of weird too.
Someone needs to sign him because I don't think he has that star power to be on both shows.
I agree. I don't think so either.
And you're not going to put him on SmackDown because right away he'll go for Roman. And if Roman beats him, there's no need. There's no need for him.
Yeah.
But Seth versus Omos. I'm going with Seth, obviously. I mean,
100%, man. There's no way they're gonna. For one, they're leading us all to believe that he'll be the one to take this new belt. So there's no way they're gonna have Omos be, unless Vincey gets Vincey and throws a surprise in there. But I don't see. Yeah, this is one of actually most of the ones in this card. I think I kind of know how they're gonna go, but this one for sure, it's got to be Rollins.
Yeah.
Yeah, especially if you're pushing Rollins as your top 1 or top 1A babyface, but you're really hurting Omos because this will be the second loss that he's going to take in a pay-per-view when he got beat like a drum. Well, not really a drum, but when he got beat by Brock. So now he's 0-2 in pay-per-views, and he's supposed to be this Nigerian giant, and he's just he's just going to be a enhancement talent, a 7-foot something enhancement talent. Like, wow.
Yeah.
Nice luxury piece right there.
Who got a lot of TV time too.
Right.
Oh, yeah.
You would figure with how much they're invested in him, they would put him in a situation to succeed. You know, it's not like at WrestleMania, it's different. Like you're in a WrestleMania match with Brock Lesnar.
Right. That's a big one.
Yeah, but
Just to be
Seth
in that
Rollins?
position, yeah.
Yeah, to go from that position, whether you win or lose, you still fought Brock at Mania.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But
he
now
was,
this one it's like,
yeah. Yeah. Like the almost thing, like he was on WrestleMania, but LA Knight and Bobby Lashley weren't. So that tells you right there they had some faith in him.
right?
But yeah, I agree. This is kind of an odd match to me.
So we're all going Rollins because he's gonna probably be the first world champion. And going from Cody?
I think it's gonna be Brock. We can get to it. Let's get to the Brock. Let's go through the card.
Okay.
And I'll give you my rundown
right.
of what I think is gonna happen.
Next match is that triple threat for the United States Championship. We kind of touched on it, talking about the draft results. It's Austin Theory versus Bobby Lashley versus Bronson Reed. I'm a Theory guy. You know, to me, Theory is a mixture of Randy Orton and John Cena, and I think he's going to be the future of the company. And I'm going with Theory because he's my guy.
I don't like Theory.
Oh
man, I don't think he's good on the mic. I think he's getting there, but right now, and I think the whole handpicked by McMahon thing kind of ruined him for me with the egg and all that other stuff. But I agree with you, though. I think it's going to be Theory. I thought if Theory was going to stay on Raw, it would go to Bobby Lashley. So obviously Lashley would take it with him. But I think it's going to be Theory too. I think they're going to try to maybe push Lashley for like one of the Roman's mini feuds going forward because it makes sense. He's the only person right now on SmackDown I can think of that would be an immediate contender. And I'd like to see Theory and LA Knight go at it for that title down the road.
Yeah. Yeah, I agree. I think Theory pulls it out. Mr. Nice Guy is going to lose his focus and beat Lashley down enough to where Theory will pull a fast one and get a quick pin.
Yeah, I can see that. And we'll just continue to go with Theory's gimmick and how.
Yep.
And how, because that's same thing at Mania. You know, that's how he beat Cena. So
exactly, yeah.
This one, the Raw Women's Champion Bianca Belair versus Io Sky. Now, you know, I don't see Io Sky beating Bianca, you know, because then that would mean that the next Women's Championship match, Rhea would be dropping it, and that's not happening, especially to Zelina. But while I know Bianca's going to win, I think this match has potential to be a banger.
100%.
Yeah, I think this could be probably close to match of the night because
I was thinking that too.
Yeah, Bianca shows up on these premium live events, and she is definitely a big match performer. And Io Sky was amazing in Stardom. She was amazing in New Japan, and all that stuff prior to coming to WWE. And I think I almost feel like Triple H is kind of like letting her off a leash a little.
Yeah,
because she's cutting her promos in Japanese, which is awesome. And yeah, I think this is gonna be this has the potential. It's funny because I think the two women's matches have the potential to be the matches of the night, and I think this one tied with the Rio one it's going to be an interesting, and I think they could definitely steal the show. But I agree, I think it's Bianca. You're not going to give it to Io. I mean, I guess you could because Io got drafted with Damage Control to SmackDown, so it would just stay on SmackDown. But I don't see Bianca losing it.
Yeah. So this is a perfect example of getting over and going over. And this is going to be Io Sky's coming out party on the main roster because she had some, like you said, bangers on NXT, and she really showed her athletic prowess. And this will give her the opportunity to get away from Damage Control because eventually they're going to break up, and she can be that credible threat to, another championship if it's not against Bianca, and give her a platform to stand on.
You're right. Absolutely. And I misspoke before. I thought that they were on separate shows, but they're both on the same show. So then I don't know. Maybe that opens up now to anything. Anything could happen. It'll be great to put. I mean, if Io beats Bianca and ends that reign, that's going to be huge for her.
That would be
Wow.
huge.
Yeah.
That would be massive. Yeah.
I like that idea. I mean,
and it could happen. You could have Damage Control get involved, and we start a story with Damage Control and Bianca, and it could happen. They could put it on Io Sky. Man, that's gonna be a hell of a match, though. Either way, I think.
Yeah. But everything I'm reading and hearing is that the WWE wants to modernize the record books. So Bianca holding the title for nearly 400 days now is rewriting the history books. Obviously, she doesn't have the 8-year reign that the Fabulous Moolah did, but I think this type of match and this setting will go a long way for her to be able to stake her claim, especially on a new show. And I really, really hope that they learned their lesson from the last time they did the title exchange, where they took the red and blue belts and swapped them. And I hope this will be clean, and they'll dap it out and leave the ring with their proper show championship.
Just unveil new
That'd
belts.
be cool too. Yeah.
Yeah.
They should do that. All right, so let's jump right to the SmackDown Women's Championship then. Listen, Rhea, sorry, Zelina. I mean, you're from New York like me, but it's Rhea Ripley. I mean, this is like almost like a Brock versus like Finn Balor, Daniel Bryan type of thing, to where Rhea could like toss her around, and they both look good. And the selling is going to be great on both ends. But I'm going, Rhea Ripley, and even more so for what you were just saying before, with that title exchange, that face-off between Rhea and Bianca is going to be good.
Yeah. I'm aligned. I think it's going to be Rhea. I think they showed a little bit in the tag match they had on Monday, some of the interactions they can have, and I think you're right. I think it's going to be Rhea just ragdolling her around a bunch, her showing some speed and athleticism, but Rhea will come out on top.
Yeah, you want to make your champion look strong, even though Zelina is in her like hometown because she's Puerto Rican, and the crowd. So no matter what happens, the crowd is going to love her. Yeah, and Rhea comes out looking like the monster that she wants to be, or the mammyster. Monster mommy. The mommyster.
Mommy's always on top. You said that on Monday.
Yeah. I love Dominic Mysterio. But not to get sidetracked. That'll be a different show.
Oh my God, yeah.
I would love it if he won Money in the Bank.
Matt Riddle and the undisputed WWE Tag Team Champions, Kevin Owens and Sami Zayn versus the Bloodline. I don't know, to be honest with this one. I think it's a toss-up. I mean, how many times are the Usos going to get pinned and Roman going to be mad before something happens?
So I think this is where you see something happen. I think Solo turns on the Usos.
Yep.
And either spikes one or both of them and walks out and leaves it to Riddle, Sammy, and KO, and they get the victory. But I think Solo turns on the Usos at Backlash. Yep, I think we'll get some sprinkling of that on Friday night show.
Which is also in Puerto Rico. So you're going to have the similar crowd. They're going to be hot, and you're going to hear them. We're in your city. And then you'll see Heyman get on the phone. Yes, my tribal chief. And then
he's such a weasel.
Yeah, I totally agree. This is going to be the swerve of the night.
Yep, I do. I think Solo betrays him.
You know what? Then, if that happens, I could see Paul Heyman being the weasel that he is, and he gets the Usos traded to Raw, so they're not on SmackDown, and then they're not a problem anymore.
Yep.
Except I think Jimmy's the one that's going to take the title from Roman.
They're saying Roman is going to break Hogan. That's
what I've heard too. Yeah, he's going to hold it all
Roman's
the way
gonna
through
hold this
WrestleMania.
I mean, I like it. I'm for it.
Yeah.
You know, I'm a huge Roman fan. Always have been. Love everything they're doing. And because of Roman not being there, I don't want to skip that one yet. We have Bad Bunny and Damian Priest. I don't want to skip over to Cody and Brock.
Okay.
Bad Bunny and Damian Priest. I mean, Bad Bunny's hosting it. You know, all Judgment Day does is take L's other than Rhea.
Yeah.
And it's almost like when Seth kept on losing after pay-per-view. Yeah. Same thing with, you know what, Judgment Day, I feel like they could take these losses, and because of Rhea and because of the crowd reaction to my man Dom, ex-con Dom.
he can't even get a word out. He gets the microphone near his face. Whether
people are saying it's go away heat.
Oh,
it's not. It's not.
Hey, heat's heat, man. That heat
is.
And so some people are also saying it's piped in heat now, and I'm like,
no.
It didn't feel piped into me, and I'm not the biggest, like, you know, Ruha WWE always has it right, but to me that wasn't piped in heat. They did not want that man to talk.
And every
I saw live. Sorry, go ahead.
No, yeah. So in every city that they go to, they were like, well, Fort Worth was loud, but Puerto Rico, San Juan is going to be 10 times as loud because it's been a minute since WWE has gone international or gone to San
Puerto
Juan.
Rico.
And man,
I think New Year's Revolution, I think like 2005 maybe.
Wow, see.
Or 5 or 4, one of them.
Yeah.
Something like that.
Yeah, it's gonna be the crowd is gonna be live. I think Friday Night SmackDown will be something like what we wanted to see the Monday after WrestleMania. I think you're not going to see like Roman showing up, but it's going to be a big affair. The matches are all going to deliver. You'll see the swerve with the bloodline. You know, probably a couple of people will show up that will just pop the crowd, and it will be electric all the way to the main event.
So you're thinking Bad Bunny wins?
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
He's the host. He's hosted, and he can't lose. The host can't lose.
It's going to be interesting how they do that, though, because I mean, I agree. I'm curious how it's going to go down. You know,
probably
does
the
LWO
LWO
come out and help? Yeah.
Yeah.
Yep. That's exactly what I was thinking. LWO comes out, gives him the hand, because I'm sure the Judgment Day will come out, and it'll probably be a very entertaining match, though, for sure. Some of the bumps Bad Bunny is going to take.
Oh yeah,
man,
he's a fan. He loves it.
Yeah,
he loves it
for being a street fight.
Me thrown off stages and everything.
Yeah. If I don't see Carlito eat an apple and spit it in Damian Priest's face, I'm gonna be so upset.
Yeah,
that would be great. He just helps Bad Bunny, totally random.
Yeah,
I like it. But what's not totally random is the main event.
Drum roll, please.
Yeah. Cody Rhodes versus Brock Lesnar. Now, they're going down the same route that they did with Cena, I feel, when he lost to The Rock. Cena lost what was probably his biggest match against The Rock at WrestleMania 28. And then the next night, Brock debuted, beat the shit out of Cena. And then the next time that they fought was Extreme Rules, and Cena beat Brock in that street fight. I feel like they're trying to do the same thing with Cody because I knew Roman was going to win. I wanted Roman to win. I wanted, the 1,000+ days. I wanted that streak to go. But also Cody had it really easy when he, coming. He debuted at Mania. He beat Rollins 3-0, which doesn't happen. And then he got hurt. I think him getting hurt derailed everything. And, I felt before Cody got hurt, he was going to win Money in the Bank. he was going to announce his cash in at SummerSlam and take the belts off Roman then. If that all would have happened that way, I think it would have been all right. But for Cody to win the Royal Rumble and walk through everybody to get to Roman, I just didn't think it, was the right decision. So, now that he's, he got attacked by Brock, he has to go through Brock. I think that this is on his way to redemption to earn that. Because I don't think he's going to win the world title. I think he wants Roman's belt. Yeah. So I don't think he is even going to be involved in it. I think he's going to go through Brock, maybe 2 matches, maybe 3. I don't know. But I think this is going to be really good to get Cody to that next. He's already at that level, but I think it's just going to bring him even higher after he beats Brock Lesnar in Puerto Rico.
That's interesting. All right. Yeah, I thought he should have run at WrestleMania. I thought there was no better time to pull that trigger, and I feel that everything storyline they've done, other than the 1,000 days, everything they've done storyline they could continue to do with him having that title. However, I see the other side of it, and I'm trying to breathe through it. But I think Brock absolutely crushes Cody at Backlash. Almost. So you brought up the John Cena thing. I don't remember when it was, but Brock had that match with Cena where he suplexed him 50
SummerSlam.
Yep.
2014, I think, or 16.
Yeah, and I think that's what's going to happen. I think Brock runs over Cody. Wow. I think it's going to be one of those we're all going to be like, what the hell just happened? And maybe he goes after him, breaks his leg. I don't know what it's going to be, but he's going to reset and do that hot times promo and kind of have to build himself back up because for one, if Cody goes over Brock and then we just end the feud, when has Brock ever had a one and done feud? So I don't see that happening. If Cody beats Brock, there's no justification for kind of a rematch. So I think Brock wins. I think there was some sprinkling of hints that Heyman's going to show up as Brock's advocate, and Brock's going to win that title down the road at Night of Champions.
Interesting.
Yep. I'm probably completely wrong because I have an AEW brain and I think things a little too much, but
yeah, I think what's going to happen is Brock Lesnar is going to get himself DQ'd, just beating Cody to just a merciless pulp, and Cody gets the win, and he's not done with Brock because he needs to finish his story. Now, remember, the story is about him winning the World Heavyweight title. What is the name of the new title? It's the World Heavyweight Championship. Now, he may not be the inaugural champion, which would make sense because, it's the inaugural, it's the first, it's special, it's different, it's not like the others. But it makes sense, too, if Rollins wins against Omos, he then locks up in a pretty decent feud all the way to Night of Champions. But yeah, I think this will not be a one and done. I think Brock beats him to a pulp, and the ref is like, "Hey, get off whatever, quit putting him through everything." And yeah, so they call the match, and like you said, I think Paul Heyman comes out and has some kind of interaction with Cody, and there's a continuation, and it goes into the next pay-per-view before Night of Champions, or the next night or something where they actually have a match with a clean finish, a no DQ or something. That maybe that, yeah.
I like that. So Backlash this Saturday, but right now it's time once again for some Rasslin trivia.
I'm not going to do well at all.
But that's okay. But hold on 1 second, because what do we have? We have a special intro. Woohoo! That's it. All right. So these trivia questions, I tried to do a straight backlash.
Okay.
A backlash, but was a little harder than I thought, and then I was like just like making things up. So I have so I only have 2 backlash questions out of 5. I'll start with a layup. What year did WWF change to WWE?
So, wow.
I have no idea. 97. I don't know. I'm guessing.
No, it was after
You'll
that.
get it better than I can. Yeah.
Wow, so get the F out. So that would have been. It was before. It was before 2002. Yeah, I think I was in California, so it would have been 90, 99, 98.
You said the answer.
2002.
It was 2002.
Oh, wow. Okay.
Yeah.
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 Jeez. I had one of those shirts too, get the F out. And yeah, geez.
Great shirt. I wish I had that shirt. All right. Next question is about Evolution.
Okay.
Before Batista was the 4th member of Evolution, who was originally planned to be part of the group?
Oh, this is an interesting one because it was Mark Jindrak, and he ended up getting in trouble. And they thought that Batista would be a better fit because he got along better with Triple H. So, yeah.
Yeah, what do you
Mark
say?
Jindrak? There you go.
He's my historian.
That wanted a fit, so I'm glad that
Yeah.
it worked out that way with Batista. All right, here's my first Backlash question. The main event of Backlash 2000 was The Rock versus Triple H for the WWF title. Shane McMahon was the referee. Vince and Stephanie were in Triple H's corner. Who was in The Rock's corner for that match?
Wasn't it Linda?
Yeah, I think it was either Linda or there was someone else involved. Yeah, I think it was Linda. Hold, I don't think.
So Linda appointed this person to be in The Rock's corner, and it was Stone Cold. Steve
It was
Austin.
Stone Cold. Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. Wow.
Okay, so AJ Styles is the 4th question. AJ Styles' current WWE theme song was originally for which former TNA wrestler that was supposed to join the company?
I have no idea.
Oh,
Was supposed to
hold on.
join.
he was seen on NXT TV a couple of shots. They were like panned to him like in the audience. They would show his name. He wrestled a couple of matches.
Oh,
he was.
Was it James Storm?
I was going to
There
say
you
that,
go.
but phenomenal. That theme song doesn't fit James Storm in my head, so that's why I was
Yeah.
like, "No, it can't be James Storm."
So Beer Money had originally signed, and they, for some odd reason, just let him back out of the deal because he said it didn't feel like home or the fit wasn't right or something. So yeah, that was yeah. You got one of the beer money bottles right behind you too.
Yeah, signed by James Storm.
Yeah.
Sorry about your damn luck. I loved Beer
I
Money
love James
yeah.
Storm.
in TNA.
I just that theme song doesn't fit him. That's why I was like, James. No, that can't be right. So, interesting.
Yeah, I think part of the song, I think because it says like a redneck or something is what I was reading. Like there were like key parts in that song that was like, oh yeah, this was for James Storm. I was like, nah, this is AJ's song.
Yeah, this is AJ.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Last question, question number 5. What was the main event for the very first Backlash in 1999?
99. So Lesnar and Angle. Yowza.
No idea.
It was The Rock versus Stone Cold. It was the rematch from
Oh, wow.
WrestleMania 15.
Oh. I don't think I was watching at the time. I think I was in basic training. So I think I missed. Yeah, I was like, I think I missed some of that.
All right. So what I'll do is I will confer next time to get a range of years for you. I blame Sal, who left me high and dry on the last minute. So this is on you, Sal.
Damn it, Sal.
My brain's like Swiss cheese, so I don't remember stuff past yesterday. So it's okay.
So-
I'll probably never be good at trivia.
So we talked about what we thought some of the one swerve. One of the pops I hope that we get to see is the return of the most dangerous 3 letters in professional wrestling, and that'd be RKO. And so I'm hoping that becomes part of maybe even the RKO or the original Bro, and that somehow plays into it. But yeah, I think you'll see Randy there in San Juan. So Randy,
I love Randy. He's in my top 5.
oh yeah,
Top 5. He's
Definitely.
he's so good. Great show. It was great meeting you guys. Why don't you just say, give everybody just a little more information about who you are again, or not who you are again. Sorry, I probably shouldn't smoke before the show, but we'll see. I guess what day or times are you going to be doing your shows on the network?
Yeah, so our first live show for he and I will be Saturday. We didn't plan this out. It's at 8:00 right at the start of Backlash, so we're gonna miss the beginning part of that pay-per-view. But we're gonna go 8 to 9 on Saturdays. I believe on Rumble and YouTube or wherever the network's gonna be. We're working all that. So other than this show, that'll be our actual first live where he and I are trying to host it. So,
Awesome.
But as for everything else, we are on all the social medias: Twitter, TikTok, YouTube, Instagram at NoShaveManCave. Hit us up. We are very interactive with our fans. We have a job that allows us to kind of sneak on our phones a lot, so I can answer Twitter questions and stuff.
Awesome.
And then for podcast, NoShaveManCave, wherever you get your podcast from, Apple, iTunes, all that good stuff. So Apple, iTunes, I guess is the same thing, but Apple, you know what I mean. I shouldn't have had a margarita before the show.
There you go. See,
Yeah.
I had to be loose for the show. Had to be loose.
Yeah, quick shout out to the shout out. Really appreciate all our brothers and sisters in arms. Some gave all gave some, and your dedication and sacrifice for this country, much deserved. Any of our brothers and sisters or anyone in general who are in any kind of mental distress, please dial 988, and a medical professional will be there to help you out. And last but not least, I can't say thank you enough. Nearly 25,000 downloads today, our total closing out today. So thank you to the fam and following the No Shave Man Cave.
That's awesome.
Yeah, very
That's
cool.
awesome. All right, guys. Thank you so much for being on the show. Appreciate
thanks for having us.
Oh, anytime. More than welcome. And tune in. Make sure you all tune in on Saturday, 8:00. You don't need to see the first hour Backlash. You need to see the No Shave Man Cave.
Yeah.
That's right.
Yeah. Take care, guys.
All right. Have a great one. Thank you.